We made this.
Welcome to the Starlight Ballroom. Hey!
Hello everyone and welcome to Shipwrecked and COMATOSE, the Red Dwarf podcast here on the We Made This podcast network. We have got to Red Dwarf 12, the titles, finally, with Mark Adams, who's meant to be here with me, but all we can see is Shipwrecked and COMATOSE, a Red Dwarf podcast background.
He just disappeared. That was brilliant.
I forgot my beer.
He's getting a beer.
Yeah, I forgot my beer.
Oh no,
Right.
this could spell danger.
It's a Friday night. This is what we do on our Friday nights because we're so cool.
Exactly, I'm drinking my Pepsi Max.
I've got water because that's what I drink.
You do.
That's Colin, by the way.
Hello.
That is Colin, yes. Now, obviously, it's the three of us because these two have not seen anything of the Dave series bar Back to Earth, but they now have seen the title credits for Red Dwarf 10 and Red Dwarf 11, which is progress.
It's true.
It is.
Okay. Shall we dive on this final episode of this week into Red Dwarf 12?
Yes,
Go on, then.
please.
We get Starbug again, flying out of Red Dwarf.
Yeah, so immediately the Starbug and Red Dwarf. So even if they were in Earth in Series 11, they only visited there briefly. There's got to be some kind of reason why they didn't stay there, even though he wanted to go to Fiji.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of a relief, really, because I don't think I'd have wanted an Earth-based season.
Yeah, they ain't going to lose the whole premise of the entire series.
Yeah, exactly.
They fucking did with the prison.
Well, they went back to Earth in backwards, remember?
Yeah.
And in Tx03.
Yeah.
Next, we see a corridor, service lift, and Kat and Lister jump into the screen.
They sort of materialise like
They do.
they've been beamed down.
It doesn't feel like it's a different type of teleport to the Rimmer stuff in the last season. So I'm wondering if it's some kind of time slide.
Could potentially be.
Could it be a time slide? Wasn't that similar to how they did it in time slides?
Maybe.
I'm just hoping that they've got more new ideas than all of the, we're doing a lot of, I wonder if they've done this from an earlier series.
Well, Kurt gave us the impression that they do quite a lot of stuff from old seasons, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's whether or not I'm saying you say that you touch upon it, or if it's like full ideas of shows. So you talked about that in the last couple of days about polymorph, whether or not that might be the case or not. I'm not going to say, but that's a fundamental potential episode that you're considering.
True.
If you look at like what you looked at with Crichton in Crisis, where you picked up that you punched somebody, he's wearing that red outfit, kind of thing. So they are doing new stuff. So it's just whether or not, there's obviously so little to go on this. It's just interesting to see where your mind goes with it, really. Next thing we see is Rimmer and Crichton. What looks like it's some sort of ship issue because they're doing the whole Star Trek thing of running around the ship as if it's being knocked off or being shot at.
Yep. Star Trek style crash.
Star Trek style crash. Starbug again.
There's been no blue midget. There was lots of blue midget in Series 10, but there's been no blue midget.
You only get blue midget when Starbug is out of action.
Yeah.
No one ever chooses blue midget over Starbug.
I would after the dancing scene, because that's one of the greatest scenes in all of Red Dwarf.
Oh, one of the worst scenes of Red Dwarf.
No, it's one of the best. I loved it.
Oh, it's just, no.
Pants.
It was certainly one of the best things from Series 8. But then again, a kick in the pods is probably better than Series 8.
I mentioned this last time, but what are you making to Starbug?
It looks like it's shrunk down again. I suppose because they've got Red Dwarf back, they don't need it to be so big. But that cockpit scene, it looks like as small as the cockpit ever was.
You're right. That's more a Series 6 size compared to a Series 8 size. Although it was Blue Midget that they escaped in, if you remember, in Series 8.
It was, yeah.
It's definitely got a Series 6 vibe to Starbug.
Excellent. Okay. Then we get, which we've all kind of known because you've seen pictures.
Yeah.
We've got, in this particular thing, you've got Cat as a Crichton.
Yes.
Or Crichton-fied.
Yeah, so we knew that. We've seen the promo picture. I think I hadn't even known there were new series of Red Dwarf until I saw those images of them all as a mechanoid. And it obviously it's a huge, striking image where something happens to them all, where they all become a mechanoid. That was probably the only thing I really knew about these 3 series as a whole, that there's an episode where they're all a mechanoid. So that didn't come as a surprise, but I wish it had, because imagine if that is a big thing. That is a big thing that if I'd have seen it, if I hadn't known about it, I'd have gone, fuck. But it's the first what I'd have called a big thing across all 3 of the ones we've looked at.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a shame it's the one thing I fucking knew about.
I do wonder if this particular episode was, if not written by, heavily suggested by Robert Llewellyn.
There is behind the scenes things of just like it's their turn. There is moments like that, and
him going, right, you lot fucking wear it.
there's an actual scene or like clip. I think it might have been in 3 Million Years documentary,
Right,
where Craig Charles is basically saying that his whole suit had like sort of filled up with water, and you could see the water dripping out of his eyes.
Oh, nice.
So I think Robert had a great time, at least watching this anyway. Anything else you want to have a look at this in particular?
I was going to say that the other Crichton looking at him has got glasses on, or it seems to have glasses on. We're only seeing the back of his head.
Yeah.
It also looks like Cat's gone to a hairdresser for old ladies.
Yeah, because it's got them big hairdryer, helmety type things that go over your head. Yeah, that's definitely what the props department have repurposed there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. They've probably gone to Desmond's.
Desmond's didn't have that. It's an old lady one.
Okay, next. Again, Chris Barry. Title credits, people, first name, Chris Barry. It's the first one on alphabetical.
He appears to be on fire.
Yeah. How do you explain that a hologram's on fire? He's still got his H, so he's definitely still a hologram.
Perhaps you can set fire to hard light. We do not know the science behind it yet.
Because it's just his light bee would get burnt, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. True. Next up, you've got Lister and Crichton pouring down some sort of porthole or some...
Yes. Looking down a
hatch.
Somebody's fallen down there, haven't they? That's them looking down going, what are you doing down there? Sort of
it might be somebody pushing a button every 108 minutes.
Fucking hell.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure it's not that.
And I say about Lost on Yellow Jackets all the time.
I was going to say, have you got something in your contract that says you've got to bring Lost up in every podcast that you're on?
Lost, X-Files and Star Trek. And wherever possible, Millennium. But that's...
and you too.
And you too. You too, yeah. Okay, so he's looking down the hatch. And then Lister's playing some U2 on a guitar.
He looks like he's enjoying it a lot more than that.
Is it made of camphor wood?
He's having a right go at that, isn't he? On the actual thing. So he's playing guitar, and then we see Starbug. Now, what do you think to this Starbug?
That's CGI.
That's CGI.
So it's landing at some kind of...
a moon base.
Yeah, like a moon base. Why have they made one of the moon base bits look like a bell end?
What I think that is more...
It's two nips and a bell end.
It's more a Sigmund Freud on your own personal comments, Mark, I think.
It's two boobies and a bell end is what that is. Have a proper look at it.
I mean, you could call it like some form of cock ring as well if you wanted to, but...
If that's what your cock ring looks like, then you shouldn't be using that cock ring. It's dangerous, dear.
Oh, dear. Anything else I'm trying to point you towards about Starbug?
It looks like it's...
CGI?
No, it looks like there's only one of the engines firing.
Yeah, it's only one of the engines firing.
Yeah. So it's perhaps an emergency landing on the Belen Booby Moon base. That's its actual name. I'm not talking about what it looks like. That's actually the name of it.
Ah, of course, yeah.
I saw it on a sign. I zoomed in.
Your next scene is Lister, Crichton, and Rimmer seem to be doing something. Now, what do you think they're doing there?
Well, they're clearly desperately going, no, don't do whatever the hell you're doing.
So the cat's about to do something dumb.
Yes. And potentially very, very dangerous.
Potentially something very dangerous. Okay.
Possibly turning them all into Crichtons.
And now, the next thing. So, we have a de-aged Lister. He starts old and gets young again.
Well,
younger.
Funny you should say that. It doesn't de-age him as far as he was in the earlier series, though, does it?
De-ages him to where he is at this moment in time. So he starts old. What do you think's happening there, then?
De-aged him all the way back to being in his 50s.
I think it's interesting, the fact that they're all clearly older, and I do wonder if there'll be some kind of gentle change in the humour. There might be some gags about being in your 50s. There might be some gags about we had all this potential and we've just travelled through space and found nothing. And
yeah, we've been here for 30 years now.
Yeah, almost some self-referential stuff. But that being said, Craig Charles looks pretty good in his 50s. He's still a handsome guy, 100% would.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tell him that when we get him on the podcast.
Consensually, but I don't think he's bendy. But if he was, 100% would.
We then have a spacesuit, Red Dwarf flag, and Rimmer is carrying what looks like some sand in his hand.
Yeah, it's like he's sort of frantically carrying the sand as if he drops it, it's going to be something very serious is going to happen.
Those spacesuits remind me of a former episode, but I can't put my finger on what it was.
Well, they remind me of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I think it is Doctor Who. Huh.
It's when they go into the caverns, isn't it? And they see that creature in the David Tennant's Doctor.
So there you go. It doesn't remind me of something from Red Dwarf. It reminds me of something from Doctor Who. Bugger.
Surprise, surprise.
I mean, I am fond.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing we see is Cat actually loving himself scuffing Lister's boots, polishing Lister's boots. What's going on there?
Shoe shining.
It's something significantly out of character for the cat, isn't it? And that's why they've put it onto the credits, so that you're like, why is the cat doing that? Because obviously the cat doesn't do work. The cat is very lazy.
And you can actually see, if you look at the actual clip itself, you can actually see that Lister is laughing as well. It's kind of like, yeah, kind of thing, which is great.
Yeah. So has something happened to the cat it's a polymorph. He's taken away his laziness. It's not a polymorph, but something's clearly happened to the cat for him to be doing work. I just wish I knew what.
I've got to say that so far in these credits, I'm very disappointed by the lack of any kind of fruit. But thinking back to, we don't actually see what is in Rimmer's hand in the scene where he's on the moon and he's carrying something that we thought might be sand. Could be a grape.
Or a kumquat.
I don't even know what that looks like. I've heard of them. What is a kumquat like?
I don't know.
Oh, I always thought it sounded like a larger fruit.
I mean, a physalis is small, isn't it? That's those little orange things you get in posh restaurants on your cake.
Oh, yeah,
a physalis. Maybe it's a physalis.
Could be.
Okay, moving on. There's a spaceship, and it's pulling up something.
It's Starbug being winched up, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. It's being winched up into like a mothership style flying saucer.
It's gorgeous. That model is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's all shaded quite well as well, isn't it? It's all like got the shadows and different colours on it. So, yeah, that works really well. And then we have, going back to the Crichton stuff, which is obviously the same episode, some sort of fight scene with a mop.
Yeah, Lister Crichton isn't Mark Dacascos, but, he's got these bow staff skills. That's not bad, actually. He's got his third, so he knows what he's doing with his staff. So, yeah, good. Good.
I'm just going to nod and say yes.
Mark Dacascos is like the bestest with a bow staff.
Right,
If you've ever seen Brotherhood of the Wolf, that opens with Mark Dacascos doing this fucking badass thing with the fucking bow staff, and he just smacks the shit out of loads of jabronis, and it's great. I kind of like martial art films, and I've kind of got a crush on Mark Dacascos.
Right. The scenery, it looks like it might be the same location where they filmed some of the episodes of Games Master that they'd used in an earlier Red Dwarf series. And I can't remember which Red Dwarf series it was.
Oh, okay.
But I remember mentioning at the time that it's the same location that they filmed a series of Games Master.
It was Camille.
It could well be, yeah.
Would that location still exist all these years on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a museum.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's an old pump house museum somewhere in London.
Okay. Then we get this scene. I want you to describe what's going on there, actually. What's happening in this scene with Lister? You see it?
Looked like he was brushing his teeth with a toothbrush.
Yeah. Lister with an invisible toothbrush is what I've got on my notes for that scene.
Okay. Is that Bart Simpson on his shirt? It's not. It's just the way it's landed.
Could be SpongeBob.
Could be SpongeBob. And then we get transport a scene into a lovely white glowing, kind of very Star Trek 2009.
So there's something that I've noticed across all three of these that we've looked at. They're fucking obsessed with teleporting. There's 4 or 5 different versions of teleporting, teleportery, and teleportness. And it's like, okay, I get that it's a plot device and it's dead easy. If you've got some kind of teleport, you can move your characters around quickly to keep the pace. But there seems to be lots of different forms of teleport. And this one does look pretty. You're right.
Okay. We've got a lovely Starbug scene here where we actually see Starbug face on and it going at some speed across what looks like a moon or something.
Yeah. Or an asteroid.
Yeah. And then we get the obligatory cat doing some dancing. Which we've had every single time.
Yeah, we have. The cat dancing. Oh, and then there's Blofeld Rimmer. Look at Blofeld Rimmer in his glory. Although he's not a hologram, so maybe he could be playing a different character.
I think he's an alternate version of Rimmer because he's got an R. There's an R carved into his face. He looks brutal as fuck. He's definitely going to be an antagonist in an episode, this particular version of Rimmer.
Do you think it's going to be Bond themed, or he just looks a bit like Blofeld?
I think he looks a bit like Blofeld. I don't think it'll be Bond themed. The
collar is very Blofeld as well, though, which is why I said.
But Blofeld didn't have a B carved into his face, did he?
No, but he had a scar.
Yeah, but he specifically got a capital R.
True.
Which would be a really weird detail if that was the route they were going down.
I think he's a Bond villain.
Interesting. Then we get this.
Druids.
Yeah.
With Rimmer on the table. You've got Crichton looking really menacing.
Looks like they're doing an exorcism.
Yeah, it's some kind of druidic, dark, demon summoning, exorcist-y type supernatural malarkey.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah.
Then we get Rimmer kind of disappearing into thin air and his light bead dropping.
Yep.
And Crichton doing a bit of cleaning.
Dusting the camera. Which looks... He did that in one of the Smeg-Ups. There's definitely bits where he went round and started dusting the camera crew and that kind of thing. So it looks like they've built that into the episode.
Yeah.
It's also a nice image of Crichton for when you put Robert Llewellyn's name on the screen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then next up, we've got Lister being sprayed in the face.
by cat from his wrist.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? The cat, they've mentioned he's got 6 nipples, but he's never been particularly catty beyond, like, physically catty. We've never seen him be physically catty. I'm wondering if this is some kind of cat spraying thing. You know how, like, male cats, if you don't get them neutered, will piss everywhere. I think that could be some kind of thing, because cats have pheromones in their paws and in their face. And that's why a cat rubs its face on you, because it's basically saying you belong to me. But they similarly have similar pheromones in their paws as well. And you can't really see that it's a gun in this. It's just that he's spraying something from around his wrist area. So I wonder if it's some kind of kitty piss.
Could well be.
Yep. So you're quite happy with that? And any other comments on this getting sprayed in the face? Are we happy where we need to be?
Well, I just like the idea of the cat being a little bit more catty, because we know he's got 6 nipples. He's got elongated canines, which, cats have fangy faces. But other than that, he's not really been anything other than a human in his physicalness. I kind of like the idea of exploring the cat being different anatomically to people. He had his heartbeat that was dum 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 dum, which was for the lulz.
Dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Dum dum. You need to have a musician mark to be able to do this.
So I think that would be quite fun, is if that is some kind of, the cat's on heat or something and he's spraying things. And that would be fun.
Okay. Moving on. There was an explosion there.
With an unknown person beaming out of the way. And I tried to slow it down as much as I can and pause it. I could not work out who that person is.
I think it's Rimmer.
You think it's Rimmer?
Yeah. Although the outfit looks like Series 1 and 2 Red Dwarf Rimmer.
Oh, right, okay. Interesting. Moving on. Red Dwarf. Oh, that's it. Red Dwarf 12. And that is it. That is all the new Red Dwarf that you're going to have for the time being.
Till we get to Promised Land.
Well, no, you need to watch Red Dwarf 10.
Oh, yeah.
You need to actually watch Red Dwarf 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Episodes time. Are we ready for the titles on this one?
Let's go.
Go for it.
Episode Red Dwarf 12 in 2017. Filming began early 2016, at the same time, obviously, as Red Dwarf 11. And episode 1 is called Cured.
Cured. Could you spell that?
Cured. Cured.
Cured. Oh, cured.
Obviously.
Not cured, cured.
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 It's cured.
It's an episode where they listen to the greatest band that have ever existed.
When you said cured, I thought it was some kind of Queegy name.
If you're cured, you're cured. That's the way I say cured.
No,
how do you pronounce cured?
Cured.
Colin?
Cured.
Cured.
Yeah, not cured. It's cured. The
Anyway.
cure.
Right.
So anyway,
cured.
Robert Smith turns up.
Right. So who's got something that could be cured? It could be Rimmer becomes a human. He could be cured from that. Cured from death, which could then be the Blofeld. And he goes evil because he's cured. Or no, that's all I've got. I think it's that one.
Okay. Colin?
I think they're all listening to the greatest band that have ever existed.
The Cure.
Yeah.
Yes. You're so contrary.
Okay. Episode 2. Siliconia.
That's got to be the one where they're all Crichton.
Yeah. Because it's Silicon Heaven. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Episode 3. Time Wave.
Time Wave.
Time Wave.
That's probably the one that features aging Lister. So maybe it kind of has these waves that age them and de-age them. And it's all about how they deal with a situation when they're young and old and whatever.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Could be like a similar sort of thing to Future Echoes, but a bit more changing things physically rather than them seeing things from the future.
Mm.
Okay. Episode 4 is Mechocracy.
Oh.
CHOCR.
Yeah, that's got to be the Crichton's episode, hasn't it?
That could be the Crichton episode, couldn't it? So Siliconia, what's Siliconia? Oh, shit. Mechocracy or Siliconia could be the Crichton episode. So Siliconia and Mechocracy. I'm done. I'm confused.
Yeah,
now. That's annoying. I thought I was like, I've got something 100% right. Go me.
We're not going to find out for ages because we've got 2 other series and specials to do before that.
Well, to be fair, we can do our notes now, can't we? Oh, not until Kurt's fucking obsessed with us watching it together, so not until we've done that.
Yeah, but as I say, Red Dwarf 11 and 12 we can watch on Zoom. We just need to make sure the tech's right, but 10 we need to be in the room together. Okay, so Mechocracy. Yeah, that's your call. It's either going to be Siliconia or that one.
No, that's confused me immensely. That's the most confused I've been.
Why would it have Ococracy at the end of it?
Are you laughing at him saying Ococracy?
Yeah.
Because it's got cock in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm childish.
Funny because penis.
Okay. Episode 5, MCOR, as in corporation. MCORP. MCOR.
None of the characters begin with M. MCOR.
Mining core?
Oh, okay. They might actually do some fucking mining.
It's unlikely, isn't it?
It does seem unlikely.
None of them are qualified.
No, true.
I suppose you're saying that because of Jupiter Mining Corporation,
yeah, exactly.
aren't you? Yeah.
I'm going to say that one's got the gigantic starship in. We're doing even worse on this one than we did on the previous 2, and all you said was lemons for the first one, Colin.
M could be melon.
Melon Corp. And finally, the episode, the last TV length episode of Red Dwarf to date is called Skipper.
That's obviously a kangaroo.
Oh, I was going to say, wasn't that one of the nicknames for Ace Rimmer's friends? Was that what he called? No, that was Spanners. Who was Skipper?
I definitely remember. It was our Lister.
It was Prime Lister, wasn't it, that he called Skipper? And his Lister was Spanners. But we didn't see any Ace. In fact, we haven't seen any Ace. We haven't seen any Dwayne Dibley. We haven't seen any of the old stuff Jake Bullitt, who never came back. But we haven't seen any of those characters at all on the credits. So if they are back in any capacity, it's better at not spoiling with this series of credits that we've watched at.
Yeah.
Which is good, actually. That's a really positive thing.
Definitely.
But Skipper, I don't think it's a reference to that. I'm just pulling things out of my head that I remember from Red Dwarf at this point, and that's bollocks.
I did kind of get that impression.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is it. That is Red Dwarf 10, Red Dwarf 11, and Red Dwarf 12 title credits have been in there. This is 6 minutes of footage you've not seen before.
I'm disappointed that there's no Holly. And I think I'm ever so slightly gently disappointed that there's no actual Dwayne Dibley or Ace Rimmer or any of the other characters we were expecting back. I think I'm right about the polymorph, but we haven't seen the polymorph either, so I could be wrong. And the only thing I can get out of this is something I already knew, that they all get to look like Crichton at some point, and I don't even know which fucking episode title that is.
Yeah, I think I'd forgotten that they all turned into Crichtons. So that was a bit more of a surprise for me, because I definitely not retained that in my brain.
But that's the only iconic image that I know I've seen, other than, they look a bit older. It's a generic picture. You've got the iconic image of the gunman of the apocalypse. You've got the iconic image of them all together as the Dwayne Dibley and the Doyles and Jake Bullitt. The only iconic one from across those 3 that I have seen on the internet as this is a big Red Dwarf thing is the image of them all as mechanoids. Plus the AA adverts. But the other thing I know happens, and I can't remember how I know it, it might have been Latham, is I know that Rimmer's brother turns up, but we've seen nothing of that in the credits. So at some point, Rimmer's brother turns up.
Okay, wasn't aware of that. He's going to be Officer Rimmer
Oh, okay.
because we know that his brothers were more successful.
Hmm. The only reason, that's how I know it wasn't Latham. It was because I went to that convention with you online, Kurt, and the actor was there.
The actor was there, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I knew that.
Yeah. Okay, well, as I say, do you want to hazard a go for just a general thing that we're in this mode of what do you think the Promised Land will be about?
I know the answer to that, so Colin, go first.
I think I also know. I think it's future.
That is not what I think it is.
Okay.
I know they meet the cat people.
Right, who were looking for future, so
Yeah.
that's why I thought that.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it. You're not allowed to see any of that till 2027. So we'll see.
I know, right?
Yep. So
It's on the iPlayer. I'm going to watch it now.
no, you're not.
It is on the iPlayer. That's actually big news, isn't it? We didn't think there was enough to have a special about it, and this will be broadcast, 4 months after that was announced, and we could have loads of new news by that point.
Well, at the time of recording, though, it's something he's retweeted out, and in fact, we might be on the podcast in the near future. That somebody had said that I think they're going to some sort of Comic Con or something, and that Norman Lovett's coming on, and he went, "Oh, are you expecting some big announcement?" And Doug Naylor retweeted that tweet.
Oh, that's just prick teasing that.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. So, yeah, when I think this is going out before Red Dwarf 10's coverage. So,
Yeah, they are all going out before. They're going out as a 3 series.
yep. So, into new territory now. So, if you were watching Red Dwarf 10 tomorrow, which is a horrible thing to say because you're not going to watch it for a while, how excited are you? And what are you really looking forward to now? Now you're in this mode of like, we have to watch new Red Dwarf. How are you feeling?
I think as soon as I'm allowed to, I'm going to binge watch all 18 episodes straight. I'm going to have a day off and I'm going to just watch all 18 episodes as soon as I'm allowed to. I'm not going to make notes. I'm not going to be a podcaster. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to fucking consume Red Dwarf for an entire day. I'll get up. I'll feed myself. I might even put clothes on, but that day will be 18 episodes of Red Dwarf. Not even fucking kidding.
Well, I want to watch 6 of them with you in one day. I'm going to jump on the train. I'm going to go down to Manchester and I'm going to watch them.
I don't want you to see me in my pants again.
Some things you've just got to take.
I'm just really fucking excited and I can't wait to watch it. And as soon as we're released into the wild, I'm going to watch them as quickly as possible. It's basically what I'm getting at.
I'm just going to have to hold you back and say, well, I want to watch every single episode with you up until...
Hold me back.
Red Dwarf 7 Crichton. Yep, so where can people find you online, Mr. Mark Adams?
My Twitter and Instagram are the same. It's at MarkAdamsHC. My Twitter, I tweet about stuff as well as quite a lot about stuff. I work as a celebrant and as a wrestling ring announcer. My Instagram is basically a shit marketing tool that I hardly use for my ceremonies. So unless you want to employ me, you probably don't bother with my Instagram. I'm also doing another podcast called Chucky Vision, which is about the Child's Play and Chucky franchise. And I've taken my format of precarious specials into that. And in between seasons of Chucky, we look at Chucky adjacent stuff, which some of it is relevant and some of it is Mark's tenuous links because he wants to talk about stuff. At Chucky Vision on Twitter for that.
Great. And Colin, where can people find you?
So I've got 2 other podcasts. We Dig Music, where me and my friends Ian and Tracy pick a different year each month and choose our 10 favourite songs each and then fight over them. And we don't find out what we've scored them until we record the episodes. And I've got another podcast called Free with This Month's Issue, which is about old free CDs from Kerrang, Metal Hammer, Enemy, Melody Maker, Vox, that kind of thing, old music magazines. You can find both of them they're both on the We Made This network, but you can also find them at wedigpodcast.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Mogwai
Excellent. You can find me on Linktree, linktr.ee/rmuldrake, RMULDRAKE, where I'm talking X-Files, probably around the time this is airing. I'm not quite sure when that is, but I'll be flying over to Minnesota to talk some X-Files over in Minneapolis. Obviously, Yellow Jackets was early in the year. There was some Star Trek Picard stuff early in the year. I'm also covering quite a few bits on that podcast, which is the Make It So podcast. It's a Star Trek Legacy podcast now. So we're talking everything from Deep Space Nine to Star Trek Picard to Voyager, Next Generation, the lot. But yeah, that's where you can find me. So thank you guys for joining me on this new voyage, fantastic voyage. Really looking forward to the new material, to see just how fresh it is in your eye, to see a fresh perspective. Because there is some things that has a recency bias for us, as people have seen it. Obviously, things have waned a little bit. To see your enthusiasm for certain parts will be really interesting. So until next time, remember, as always,
lemons and pineapples and a grape.
And apparently a kumquat, whatever that is.
Anaphysalis.
Anathosaurus.
Shipwrecked and Comatose, a Red Dwarf podcast, was created and produced by Mark Adams and Kurt North. You can find us on Twitter at Red Dwarf Pod, and we are part of the We Made This Podcast network.
Do you believe in the existence of X-Files podcasts? Then the truth is in here. I'm Tony.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Armuldrake.
And the X-Cast is devoted to all things X-Files, such as in-depth episode discussions.
I love the 8th season being like, no, you're saying goodbye. And that's something pop culture doesn't do enough.
Interviews with many of the cast and crew from the show.
I had to audition repeatedly. I mean, I went in, I read for Chris and Frank. First I read for the casting director, Rick. And then I made it past that hurdle and read for Chris and Frank. Had a lovely meeting with them.
And special roundtable chats, commentaries, and fun bonus episodes.
But this is great. Mulder just having no idea what's going on.
On this beautiful boat with people not really speaking English.
You can find us on the We Made This Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all good podcast players.
We'll see you in the basement. But until then,
trust
no
one.